Hey, friends! I'm Jesse Fisco.
And I'm Ambry Fisco.
As founders of several successful businesses, we've experienced absolute joy and satisfaction working together to build our empire.
Our journey started off as a small business idea and has launched into a multi-million-dollar portfolio. It would have never been possible had Jesse and I not understood the key principles of making it all work together. But it has not been easy.
We found ourselves in the trenches trying to balance real life with business life while maintaining our strong commitment to creating an amazing marriage.
And we've emerged in a beautiful way together. This podcast was created to help you do what we've done, build an amazing marriage together while maintaining balance between life and business.
So here we are. You're listening to the Matrimonial Merger, a couple's guide to balancing life and business.
Let's get started.
Welcome to the Matrimonial Merger. Jesse and Ambry here today, and we are going to talk about what happens if things go wrong during your day. And we're going to talk about this and the importance and really hone in on, well, things shouldn't go wrong if your day is actually planned, right? So let's jump right in.
They might not.
They may not.
We hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and your day went 100% as planned because you had a plan,
and not just anything, but like happy holidays as well, right?
Yes.
But we celebrate Christmas and absolutely
whatever
holiday
/ holidays you are celebrating this time of year. We wish you all the joy possible.
Absolutely,
and are excited to bring some fire today.
Absolutely,
I'm excited about this and
good.
I think most excited about the topics that derived from a listener. And that's exactly what happened today. And so, we just got a text from one of our awesome fans who is incredible. And the client that Jesse works with and partner, and he's awesome. Anyways, he gave us a really awesome problem to solve today, if you will.
Yeah. The actual text was, to break it down a little bit here as I pull up my phone, just how do you set up each day for success? And then also, what do you do when your day doesn't go according to plan? And this is what we really, really want to focus in on with you as a listener today, is because we've all had those days, right? And where we've, we got up, maybe we slept in, maybe we ate some garbage food, so we just felt like garbage, didn't get to the gym if that's part of your routine, or maybe you just, you hit that snooze button and therefore you didn't do your hair the way you wanted. I wouldn't know anything about that, but maybe you go there and then you were kind of lackadaisical on the laundry, so you're putting together like a Mod Podge of your day, right? So you show up and you're feeling less desirable, right?
Oh man,
you feel like the broken Oreo in the bottom of the bin.
Maybe you're wiping some crusty food off the shoulder of the shirt you wore 3 days ago.
Yeah. Or maybe you get to work, look down, and your kid has a noodle or something stuck to it that just hasn't gotten out. Anyways, we've all had those days where days don't necessarily go as planned. In fact, today you even got pulled over, right?
I did.
And so that we would say
I was
maybe
going
doesn't
150.
go. Yeah, right.
Just kidding.
You drive grandma.
I don't drive grandma.
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm just building up the suspense.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, we've all had those days. And you see, the issue that I see with this is there's a few. But when your day doesn't go as planned, when I hear that, the first thing that comes to my mind is your day wasn't planned well enough.
Yeah. What was the plan?
What was the plan, right?
And then becoming curious of then why didn't it go as planned, right?
Right, exactly. I think of when you and I were first married, even the last 2 years, 2 years ago, I remember you and I would say, okay, we're going to make a plan to go on a date. And so we went on this date, we got the kids dropped off, everything's good. And then we get to the date, and that was it. We got to the fact that we were together alone with no kids. And then there was nothing else after that.
Yeah.
And it would be very easy to say, well, nothing went as planned because we didn't do anything. We literally just kind of I guess we could go to the store, and we spent more time just kind of driving around, being indecisive or deciding whether or not we were hungry. We just didn't know, right?
Yeah.
And our date although it was great to be together, our dates were lackluster. There was nothing there that was like creating a memory or moving the needle forward and creating the relationship. It was just kind of like, huh. And I'm not going to say that there aren't times that needs to happen where you just kind of drive around and just relax. Maybe don't even say anything and just like recoup from the demon, our demon, Trey.
Jesse, I know. He's not a demon.
But no, from our
sweetest,
our
most
wonderful kid.
Beloved little boy. I love him.
But like at the end of the day, looking back at it, like the reason why things didn't go as planned is because there wasn't a plan, right?
Right. Well, I think of like days when I, just like at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I didn't get as much done today as I wanted to. And that's a curious statement because it's like, well,
what did you want to get done?
Right. What did you want to get done? And did you have it like literally planned out? Or was it just kind of like this, collage of thoughts in your mind that weren't actually intentionally like scripted for your day, right? But then also like look at it and go, okay, everything that I did today, did I want to do everything I did today? And if the answer is yes, then did you not do everything that you wanted to that day, right? And so, yeah, I think like a lot of times like statements like that are almost like it's like a personal excuse, if you will, to just kind of be like, oh, like today was a loss.
Chalk it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and I don't know.
I have a problem with that chalk it up mindset of like, oh, today's a loss, because like, it's not like you can go back and get that day.
No.
You're getting older every single day, right?
Yeah.
Your body is still healthy and you feel young, but in reality, you age every day.
Yeah.
And so, like, I have a problem with that. Oh, I'm just going to chalk it up. You should be living every day and maximizing the day according to what you want and where you're headed.
So start learning from days like that. Like,
Right.
What can you do differently, or what can you add to your routine?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest issue here is like, I'm just kind of considering that you're not taking enough accountability for how much control you have.
100%.
And I think that like, is you look at your day and go, oh, well, today just didn't go as planned. It comes back down to, once again, well, what did you want to do?
Yeah.
Because if you knew exactly what you wanted to do, or you knew exactly the impact, you may find yourself getting it done faster because you know exactly what needs to be done. You may find yourself having more time in the day.
Yeah.
And then you may also find yourself happier
Yeah.
and feeling more confident because you achieved the thing that you were set out to do for that day.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think too, like, I think it's kind of a program within some to not want to be wrong, right? And like, so why do we look for excuses? It's because we don't want to be wrong. Like, we don't want to like accept the fact that in our mind, we didn't do enough, or we didn't like, you're creating negativity and then not wanting to be accountable for it.
Right.
Because you don't want to feel wrong. You don't want to feel like responsible for something less than ideal. Mm-hmm. But what if you considered like, what if you were never wrong? What is wrong, right? Like, that's a whole other conversation. But becoming curious is crucial in situations like this, because like Jesse mentioned, like, I don't think we give ourselves credit for the amount of control that we have. And like, when you allow unexpected or less than ideal circumstances or feedback to affect you in that way, what if you're missing out on opportunities or connections that very well could shape your future and maybe be the key to the life you want? So,
yeah, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent too, where a lot of people say, I just don't have time.
Yeah.
Right. And you could challenge them, right? Like you wouldn't, but sometimes you go, okay, really pull out your phone and tell me how much time you spent on social media. Right. And you may find that some people have an hour, maybe some people have 4 hours, or how much time they've spent engaged in little pointless things, saying they don't have time. But it's really because they're saying they don't have time because they know in the back of the mind what they need to do, right? It's just they're overwhelmed because there's no plan around it. And so they say, oh, well, I just don't have time to go do this. Well, no, you do have time. It's just that your other priorities in life or the things you need to do are not planned.
Right.
Therefore, you can't achieve the other things that you're invited to because you quote unquote don't have time.
Yeah. And you get to choose that. I mean, that's
That's your choice. Yeah.
you know, because our health is important to us, we both faithfully make it to the gym every day,
every day.
5 to 6 days a week. It's almost non-negotiable. It's just it's like eating breakfast. It's like eating, using the bathroom. It just is it's our routine. It's part of our life. Just like putting our kids to bed and, all these things that kind of shape our reality and what helps us be successful.
Yeah. I'm going to share a funny story, and some of you that are parents can totally relate. Our wonderful daughter loves to come to our room in the mornings and just snuggle up in our bed. And it's the cutest thing, and it's also the worst thing because she is an active tornado. And there's been times where you get
flying
punched
legs.
in the face, flying legs. There was one night where she literally was standing on my head. Remember that? And I had to I kind of choke slammed her
kind of
into our
panicked,
bed.
waking up in the middle of the night with someone standing on his head. He's like, "What is going on?"
40 pounds of little girl standing on my head, straight up in the air. I'm not kidding when I'm saying she's a tornado. But we struggled with that, and we had been struggling for such a long time. And the reason why is because number one, we weren't getting to bed on time.
We were taking control of our portion of the environment.
Right. And then the other thing that we were dealing with is we were in a negative state. We kept, every morning it was we know what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And
we accepted it rather than changing something about it. We just kind of complained about it rather than
did anything.
Becoming curious.
Right.
In a resourceful way.
And there'd be so many mornings where the morning just didn't start off right, or the morning started off flat because we allowed it instead of getting curious, like you were saying. And
curious in a resourceful state. Because if you're curious in a negative state, there's a good chance that curiosity is going to turn into there's no way. That will never happen. Right. Oh, this. Oh, right. Well, what about this? Well, that, there's always going to be something to, say, oh, that can't happen or that's impossible, whatever.
And we found ourselves having that conversation too. There's no way.
That's why I'm saying this. We know from experience, this is not yes.
Right.
Anyways, but in a resourceful state, then you can, take those possible solutions and become curious and actually implement. And even if that solution you thought of wasn't the end goal, it got you to the next thought, the next resourceful idea, and so on and so forth. And eventually, all of a sudden, it's not as big of a problem or even a problem like you thought it was.
Well, and that was the thing is I'm going to kind of elaborate a little bit more on this because we would plan something. Okay, we're going to try this, and we would do it. And then we would get some pushback or feedback from her, right? I remember, okay, you know what? We're just going to start off our morning. Just does not matter.
Yeah.
Right? So you get up at 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
Well, lo and behold, she used to sleep until 7:30. Now she's up at 5
because you're not in the bed.
Because you're not in the bed, and so there was feedback there, which led to more frustration. At the time, because it was gosh, I can't get away from you.
Yeah.
You're literally awake and stuck at my hip. Or there'd be times where it was 5 o'clock in the morning and you're getting ready to leave the gym and you're in your case, you're asleep, and I'm oh, I don't want to bug her.
Yeah.
And then here comes our little girl down the stairs, and it was oh, you're not in bed, and so you have to run back upstairs, not go to the gym, and lay down. That's happened a few times. The
mornings
too.
That I remember my alarm go off, and I'm I want to get up and go to the gym, but she's just gonna wake up. Mm-hmm. I'm just not even gonna go. I'm not gonna get out of bed. Right. Or Jesse's at the gym, my alarm goes off. And instead of getting up and doing the productive things that I want to start my morning, I'm just going to stay and lay there because I'm letting this circumstance dictate my, actions.
Yep.
Whereas I think the real interesting thing there is and we're kind of dissecting this one thing, but it can be so applied to so many things, in business, in marriage relationships, whatever. But I think a lot of times we look at what we see to be the problem and we try fixing externally first. And in, most cases, like, you need to start internally. So like we were looking out and being like, all right, let's fix Quincy, like in our mind. Like, and I'm not saying that there's something wrong or like, but in our mind, we were like, how can we help her? How can we like,
Right.
let's give her incentives. Let's put this in her room. Let's put that in her room. Like,
right.
And who knows? Those things may have worked, and maybe, for some they would. But in our situation, until we like started changing our responses and like what we were doing, there was really no change. And you might even suggest that nothing has externally changed physically. However, like what has changed on the internal has created an outcome of a different external environment. Yeah. Does that make sense? So it's like, let's say the same exact thing is happening externally, but you've changed your response internally. So therefore, like your internal reality is displaying in the external for yourself. So you're seeing it differently.
Isn't that interesting?
It's fascinating and it's beautiful.
It's based off of, and I'm actually reading a book by Joseph Murphy, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And it's really based off of your assumptions of how things are going, right? Yeah. And your assumptions of that nothing can change, right? Which I remember that assumption being thrown out there.
What you currently believe to be good, bad, right, wrong. Like,
instead of looking at it from a different angle of, okay, well, what can I learn from this? And maybe rearranging the way you assume things. We tend to do this a lot in people. And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of good people out there, but because we're just getting a weird vibe or they say something that's just kind of like not in line with what we are, we start assuming that they are a different person or that they're
their intentions are different.
Or their intentions are different. Therefore, we actually like kind of push this person away because of our own assumptions. But realistically, we're way off of who that person truly is or the capabilities they have. And that person may actually be the key to unlocking more potential for you. But you're too busy assuming.
Yeah.
That's what was really interesting about this book. But I want to like really hone in because we tried different things. And then finally it came back down to, okay, just accepting it. Yeah. She's going to get up. Okay. So how do we really focus on making this a positive experience?
Yeah.
What can we do so that maybe we're dead tired, but maybe we need to fix some things and change it up a bit. Yeah. And so we started going to bed earlier. Yeah. Right. And then we switched our gym schedule and we assessed that and we got some feedback. And then, it finally got to the point where it's like, okay, if we now move the sound machine in, the sound machine helps a little bit, keeps her asleep a little bit longer. Therefore, whoever's home can get the shower. And then once she's up, at least we've gotten our basic needs or the things we need.
Yeah.
And then we jump into her routine.
And these are all like recent adjustments and ideas, but like they've made a difference.
Totally.
And I think like since these implementations that we're, creating for ourselves and us taking control, her responses have also like adjusted. She's slept all night in her room, like twice. Way more times than ever before. And also longer. Like instead of coming to our bed at 2 a.m, it was like 5 or 6 a.m. and, maybe going back to bed for an hour. But like the biggest thing, like, and for me personally, it was like, regardless, like what she is going to choose, I'm going to do what I need to do. Mm-hmm. So like, and that was not easy for me to accept because it's like, if I want to get up at 5 and, do some laundry or meditate or read or pray or whatever I want to do, like I have to accept that like she might get up and join me and then I need to like, greet her warmly and then say like, hey, would you like to read some books for a little while? Or would you like to take a bath? Like give her something that she can, hey, can you just lay down for a little bit longer? You don't need to go to sleep, but just, directing her. But then I'm still doing what I wanted to do, like, and adjusting with the circumstances that I may not know. Like, I don't know if she's going to get up at 5:30, 6, 6:40, like,
Yeah.
And I'm not going to assume. I'm just going to allow and flow.
And I think the biggest thing too was, what you're doing in the morning. Like, once again, it came back down to, I just want to have my free time. And it would be like, well, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And there was really no like crystal clear. Well, okay, now we figured out. And I remember this conversation because like it brought a little bit of emotional tearage, from both of us. And we're like, okay, what is it that you want? What truly is it? And I remember both of us just coming to the conclusion that we both just want to be able to go to the gym in the morning. That's what it came down to, is the gym with no additional like ties. Just give us the
Get
hour.
up by yourself, go to the gym, come
Right.
back, start your day productive.
And so once again, there was change there, right? Because I was getting up every morning, going and playing basketball. Like I would do a 2 or 3 hour workout in the morning, but then there required change. But that change came because we were aligned, and it was not a difficult change at the time. It wasn't like I was getting feedback. Well, then I remember coming home saying, okay, you and I have to switch again. Like, you can still go to the gym, but I have to get up at 4:30 and go to the gym.
You have to go earlier.
Because I don't get home until 7:30, and then I can't get to work.
You feel more productive that way.
I feel more productive being up earlier. And so there was some sacrifice again. But it came back down to, all right, we're going to make this work based off of what each other wants. And then we're going to stay that course.
Yeah.
Once we got locked into what we wanted, that's when Quincy, our daughter, started to adapt to what we wanted. And
the energy that we were portraying. I mean, it was no longer like anxious stress energy. It was like positive, resourceful, like solving energy. And I think that's a huge part of it. And I want to like make mention of, like, we've talked about emotional states before. We dedicated one whole podcast to it early on. And like, for me, it was like really like accepting and taking control of my emotional state. Like, I think you can attest that's been a huge change for me over the past like year or so. Like, just in the morning, like, am I going to choose to be frustrated by this situation, or am I going to choose to be positive, happy, grateful, resourceful? And I get to choose that. And, maybe the night before, I'm like, when I wake up tomorrow, like, this is how I'm going to feel. This is how I'm going to respond. Like, however you need to design that, but you get to choose the emotional state. Like, that is, you're in control of that. No one can make you feel a certain way.
Right. I love it.
Do you agree with that? Like,
100%.
Other people's actions can cause, or can like maybe create certain emotions or responses, but you get to decide if you like those or want those and want to keep them or change them, or, like, you're in control of that. And that's a beautiful thing, because once you can understand and accept and implement that, that's life-changing. For me, it has been extremely life-changing, being like giving myself the freedom to be in control of my responses and emotional state.
I love that.
Liberating.
I love that. And I think that if you started looking at, that person said something mean to me. Okay, maybe take a step back and say, what did I do to cause that person to say something mean to me? Because, like, think about it. We're all human beings. We all have a desire to keep the peace, right?
Yeah.
Naturally. We don't want to just like go make someone upset. However, when there is that moment of eruption, right, where we get frustrated, a few things trickle down, right? We tend to just say, oh, someone's in a bad mood or someone's angry.
Yeah.
But no, what if there's more to it than just that? What if it's your misalignment or the things that you're not committed to 100% that's causing that response?
Yeah.
Right? And so it's something to consider, is like with Quincy, her response of like anxiousness, she's just trying to fit in. Now looking back at it, she was just trying to figure out where she fit in our routine in the morning. But the problem was not her. It was the fact that we
100%.
did not have a routine that worked for us, and it was not planned and aligned, because now the routine's flawless. Like, it's fun and like it's easy.
And she looks forward now, like, and she's like excited when she has slept in her bed all night and, wakes up and gets to do her routine. Like,
and she respects it more than anything. Like this morning, she woke up at 6:45. I'm sitting there eating my pancake, my protein pancake. And she's like, hey, when do we start our routine? I said, we have 15 minutes. You have a choice. You can go sit on the couch. You can sit here with me and have a conversation. Or, we can start our routine a little early after I finish my pancake. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I'll just sit here. And we had a great conversation this morning.
That's awesome.
Kind of quiet, just relaxing, but she felt a part of it. And that's what she was trying to do. And that's what most human beings are trying to do, is to become like a flow of what we're doing.
Yeah.
There are people out there, and Ambry talked about this, you and I talked about this today, that are what's called a value level 2. And value level 2s trust you with all their heart, and they just want to fit in. And those value level 2 people generally are your children, generally are your teenagers, and in some cases, they're your spouse.
Yeah.
Right? And they just want to fit in.
Yeah.
And so maybe it comes down to they're not feeling like they're fitting in because your routine or your idea of your routine is out of funk. It's whacked up.
Yeah, or you haven't
you don't even have one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I love all of that.
Deep.
It's so good. I love it.
I think the other thing I want to hit on real quick with this whole routine thing is your routine will ever be changing. And it's never going to be one thing perfect, right? There will be punches. You may get pulled over, right? And that might throw you out 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it is the emotional state that you're in. If you, for me, I would find myself early on getting frustrated. Oh, I got so much work to do. I don't have time for this. What really honed in for me is when I started looking at my schedule and writing things down. I remember our first 2 years doing real estate. And I was just like, I got so much to do. And you're like what? I just got so much to do.
That's so funny.
And I would
remember
go
that.
in and I'd shut the door and I'd be there. And then 10 minutes later, I'd be coming out and you're like, what the heck is you have so much to do, but you come out and you have a 15-minute conversation. Oh, I got so much to do. And I'd go back and shut the door.
I'm like, well, can I help you?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
But
and
I have a lot to do.
It would cause this riffraff when realistically, it was all the things that were going on in my mind. My mind was just spinning.
But they weren't clear and aligned.
But they weren't clear or aligned. And nowadays, it's like, okay, cool. You asked me what we're going to do. I have my book. And I write every little thing down. And that way, when you go, what do you have to do? I say, so far I have this, this, and this. And these are the key things I need to get done today. And then there might be times where, something arises, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be adaptable to that to a degree. But
you can choose to. If, you choose whether or not you will. But
right. But you have your key things. That way you feel like the things that you need to do to grow your business, to grow your life, whatever it is, you know that those things are done for the day. Therefore, you can go to, you can leave your desk feeling productive because, and this is another topic for another show, but there are people out there, and this is a mindset I had, that you have to work or be productive to make money.
Work harder,
do the grind, put in more hours. When realistically, you could work 2 hours a day and make more money than you were
working 10 hours a day,
right?
16 hours a day.
But most of entrepreneurs in the beginning have this idea, this concept of I got to grind hard, but it's just a consistent effort.
Yeah,
just like going to the gym, it's that intensity,
and it's how you look at it too.
Yeah,
right. Yes,
but the grind harder mindset is. You don't have a plan. You don't know who your target audience is. You don't know what you're going after. Therefore, you feel like you have to grind. And most of the time you spend grinding, you're looking and doing quote unquote research, but most of it's just a bunch of busy work that is taking away from your children and your spouse.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, that busy work, you're feeling in your mind, feeling good, I put in a hard day's work, a full 12 hours. Meanwhile, you're trying to figure out why your family and work life is such
or you're actually not making the money that you expected.
Well, and then that's even a bigger problem. You're not making the money you think you should be making. Your family life's out of out of whack because you're working 12 hours a day. Your kids hardly see you. And you're over there going, man, I'm putting in the time. I'm putting in the hours. When realistically, you're not putting in much hours. You're just putting in busy work.
Yeah. Okay, before we get too far, I want
crazy.
to go back to like you talking about writing down
Yeah.
because that was it has been a huge shift for you the last like 2.5 years that you've faithfully done. I mean, there's not binder, but there's like notebook after notebook after notebook that you have filled up.
Yeah.
Like we just got more from Amazon today.
Yes.
And every day, like you write. And for one, like compliments to you because you're really awesome at that.
Thank you.
Like consistent, dedicated, and I see the difference it makes for you and for our family. But how cool is it though that like I've seen you do this several times where you're maybe like curious, frustrated, whatever, and you're frustrated trying to become curious about why A is causing B or why ABC is even happening. Like, and you can go and look back like at like your week and what you did and the cause and effect of certain things.
Yes.
And then you can like change it and you can be like, okay, I need to implement this. I need to delegate that. I need to, and you can then understand like what needs to change or what needs to be implemented.
Well, something that happened.
It gives you a lot of power.
Something that happened today is Wednesdays when we film another podcast, the Mogul Mentality. Shout out to Devin Hubbard, our co-host on that one. Like Wednesdays, him and I meet physically at a different location, and that tends to take quite a bit of time.
Yeah,
because we're planning the episode, we're talking, and so what I was finding is that
only one person can be fortunate enough to live with you 24/7.
I know. I'm glad it's you. But what I found is just today I was going, man, I spend a lot of time on Tuesdays doing these home video tours that we post on YouTube. And so I'm actually going to switch it up this week because I don't feel very productive on Wednesdays from the course of 8 to 12. So now what I'm going to do is set a hard time to go do the video cutoff so that 11:30 I have to go.
That's why you did that.
And so I switched
I
it up.
didn't realize that.
I switched it up so that I could go do something productive. That way my Tuesday is even more productive.
Smart.
And my Wednesday is now filled with something that is still important to me and my goals. But because I'm already out of the office, now it makes it even easier to do that as opposed to being knuckles deep into work here at home.
And because you were already...
And then have to leave.
Because you were already so consistent before, this little like adjustment, I mean, it doesn't throw off anything. Like obviously it makes you more effective, but you already have this like flow and this consistency. So now you're just like
making the tweaks,
making it better. Like, whereas like if you don't have the flow and consistency, you don't know what you can do to be more effective. Like it's blurry, right? Like there's no clarity there.
Yeah.
But,
and then the conversation even elevated more to like, all right, how do I scale this so that it's off my plate in the future, right?
Yeah.
If this is not something I want to do. And there was some great ideas. You came up with a great idea, and those
I did.
Yeah.
I don't remember. You'll have to remind me later.
But those are things to consider. Now, like what it comes down to is like, I just want to hit this home. If your day is feeling like it's thrown off, it's because it's not planned 100%. It's because you are not communicating it, and that's something I think we should hit on as well.
Yeah.
But it's not planned, it's not communicated, and I'd also say it's not consistent. So other people around you don't understand the plan.
Yeah.
And so...
And if you've been doing something the same way for so long, you might not even understand what it's like to have a day that you win, that you feel like you are like firing on all cylinders.
I always laugh at the person.
You maybe don't feel like you even deserve it.
Yeah. I always laugh at the person that's like, yeah, go me. I feel so empowered. I went to the gym today and I got up at 6:00 and it's like, oh, good for you. Like, I'm glad you feel empowered today. What are you going to do tomorrow? Oh, I'd like to do that again tomorrow. Well, why don't you? Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
we'll see how it goes.
And like, or my other favorite comment, I just don't get out of the house before 9:00 in the morning. It's like, well,
that's a choice.
You could change that.
Yeah.
You could.
And it's not to say that that's good or bad or right or wrong. Like, your version of success is not the same as another person's. But don't accept mediocrity for yourself. If that's not your best self, like, and that's like where I, like to get into like the solution of this, right? And like what we can do. Like, you need to design and create your routine. Like, abide by it. Learn what makes you your best, most excellent version of yourself, and respect the heck out of it. Like, if you know certain things deter you from being your best self, and other things like empower you and make you feel like just the absolute best dang version of yourself, do them.
Ambry's gonna give me the look. I wish we filmed this, but when you walk upstairs and go, I'm a BA mofo.
Oh
right?
my gosh. No, really. There's some days when Jesse will just be like, I'm a problem.
I'm a freaking problem.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the
That's how you should feel every time you get up. You should be like, man, I am a problem because I'm consistent, right?
But why do you feel that way? It's because you are abiding by the things that make you excellent. And you deserve that. You deserve to feel that. And it's not an ego. It's not like being conceited. It is being the most excellent version of yourself. And you respect it, and other people respect it. And it's amazing. Like, if you want your spouse to be like insanely like attracted to you and, you know, more in love with you,
keep going.
Be the most excellent version of yourself. Like, and I don't know, like, without, like, love is a very complex, beautiful thing. And there's layers and so many things, right? But like, you should be the 100% most excellent version of yourself, and expect the respect. Expect the respect. Does that make sense?
I like that.
That did not like flow out of my mouth the way it was in my mind. But you want to be the best version of yourself for that person, because how much easier is it to love you for them to love you?
Oh yeah.
If you are like, I can't even come up with the right word. Like,
if you are so confident with yourself and so happy with yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you're happy with yourself, other people are happy for you.
Yeah.
Like,
and when you're like resourceful and solving your own problems and like, you know, like being, I don't know. Yeah. It just is a beautiful thing.
It's different.
And like, I mean, that's shout out again to you, Jesse, because like this year I've watched you literally like become the best version of yourself. And I know that will be constantly be an evolution for you, like where you are discovering and becoming and doing, right? It's a never ending journey for us both. But this year, especially, I've watched you like completely take control of so many aspects of your life that, you know, before you didn't even know you didn't have control of, right? Mm-hmm. But you became aware and did those things. And like, I'm over here like, dang, like, you know, it makes me excited, and it also motivates me. Mm-hmm. So if you want to, once again, like give and receive insane love, respect, and appreciation for those you love, especially your spouse, the person you love most. Yeah. Like, be the most excellent version of yourself.
I love that.
Anyways, that was kind of a long tangent.
I appreciate that. And your compliments are definitely
I'm making
awesome.
You blush.
Yes, I'm blushing over here. Last week I cried. This week I'm blushing.
Oh, man.
But I want to...
What else can we do?
I want to give a suggestion, something I'm doing right now. Because I feel like this goes so beautifully with what we're talking about. So for 2023, I wrote down 25 characteristics or things that are extremely important to me. And I wrote those down on Sunday. So it's been 5 days. And these things are everything from I want 7 hours of sleep, and I want to go on 24 dates, and I want to, go do my spiritual and my ecclesiastical duties, those types of things. Along with, I want to go to the gym 4 times a week, and I
look at you focusing on all the things you want.
Right, all the things I want. I wrote down 25 characteristics. I'm a quicker decision maker. I am less assumptive, and I'm more present with the opportunity in the moment. And so what I've done over the last 4 days is every night I review and check next to it. I go down each one. oh, could I have done better on that? And if I say, yes, I could have done better, I write it down. What could I have done better? And so I've done that. And then in the morning.
Wow, that is impressive.
And then in the morning, I'm looking at it going, this is reminding myself. These are the 25 things I'm going to be by 2023, December 23rd, 2023. And I write those things back down and go, and I don't even write them. I just review them, right? So they're fresh on the mind. And if I'm feeling like a little bit of a lull like I was today, I go back and look at those again. And I'm consistently reminding myself. But you see, the issue that a lot of people have is they don't write these things down. And then they lose sight of what it is that was important because of the moment or the other stuff going on. And so writing them down,
but like
reviewing
right constantly. Like,
yeah. My little black journal has now followed me in every level of the house. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah.
For the last 4 days, down here and up by my bed.
Is it the same one?
It's the same black journal that follows me around. Yeah. And instead of just one, I have my workbook of all the things I have to do, and then I have my black journal so that when I'm feeling something, I can record that emotion or that feeling or what triggered me so I can go back and focus on it so awesome. I can become better. These are the types of things, like, you have to be crazy, like, and crazy about yourself, crazy on your becoming. Mm-hmm. But like the hypnosis track I've talked about, that's a game changer, listening to that thing every single night. And of course, that's one of my 25.
The self-recorded one.
My self-recorded track. That is something that's on my list, 25 things every single day. So when I go to bed, I'm not distracted with, I should listen to this book or that book. It's like, nope, here's the 25 things. I'm going to listen to myself talk again.
Yeah.
Right? And it's that last minute reminder.
Yeah.
And then I go to bed thinking about those 25 things and then hearing those 25 things in my recording, waking up, awesome. And there I am again. You guys, I can't stress this out enough. This has worked. And it's changed. Even the last 4 days, I've seen dramatic change. And I remember this morning having a weak moment, because we all have weak moments. There's still these feelings and things that we're trying to sort through. And I just remember feeling like completely gassed and tired. And I was just like, nah, screw that. Like, and I remember like telling myself, I was down in my office, I had a thought, and I said, that is bull crap. There was a different word. But that is bull crap. You don't actually believe that.
Yeah.
And that's not who you're becoming. So get that crap out of your mind and get back to work.
Yeah.
And had you been here, you'd have been like, what is he talking about? Like, who's he? Like, but I was like angry with myself in that moment going, no, your becoming is here.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you get better.
Yeah.
And it's all in the details of the plan. Knowing the plan, you won't have awesome. A bad day. Your emotions won't get the best of you. You won't have these emotional breakdowns where you're upset all day long.
No. And like you said, when you do have those moments or those, circumstances that maybe weren't expected or whatever, you change it. You change the direction. You become curious and resourceful. And like, no, if you know your plan, like Jesse said, flow through it, like in your mind constantly, like, imagine the success of your plan and create it. Like, how is it going to go? So when little things come and other ideas or options are thrown at you, you know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't deviate you. And also, like, we talked about this being very important, that you got to communicate your plan. Like, create proper expectation with those around you and those that are, involved in your plan or, affected by your plan, and speak it. Like, express your needs, like express your expectation, understand theirs, but like express like, hey, we got to be done by 7:00 because that's what I need. Like for whatever reason, like that's what you need. And so
you don't even owe them an explanation.
No.
And you could just say, I have another plan. Yeah. Right. Because your other plan is written down.
Yeah.
And I was telling you about this. Like, I listened to a talk today, and one of the guys that was talking, he's actually one of our coaches, really cool. And his discourse was like, make a plan. And one of the things he said is, I literally write nothing down on my Saturday.
Yeah.
On the times I need to do nothing. So when someone comes to me and says, hey, what you doing on Saturday? He goes, I'm doing nothing. And they say, well, great, you can come help with this. And he looks at him and says, no, I am doing nothing. That's on my
That's
schedule.
my plan.
That's my plan.
I have
nothing.
a plan. It's nothing.
Right. And
I love that.
It hit me like when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so powerful, because like people are, oh great, well you can help out. No, I'm doing nothing.
Well, and what I love about that is like, you know, you might be listening to this podcast and thinking like, okay, I need to go do this. I need to go do that. I need to, you know, and go do those things. Like create your success and your excellence, right? But if there's a day that you have planned ahead that you're like, I'm not going to do anything this day. Or what I do is going to be very like, you know,
me-centered.
Yeah.
Right.
Easy, relax, chill, whatever, right? Like self-care, whatever that is for you. Like do that, right? And you need that.
Right.
But you have to plan that and be intentional, because otherwise, like in that example you shared, you know, there's always something. There's always a need. There's always a want for your time, your energy.
Yep.
And so you get to decide like where you want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then not just saying nothing and then like doing nothing, right? Like if your nothing entails like you're going to go to the sauna or to the spa or to a salt cave, wherever you're going, you have to still plan that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And
I'm going
by it.
at 10 o'clock this time, right? People respect that.
Schedule it, pay for it, do it.
Pay for it, be committed to it, and don't allow yourself to talk yourself out of it, because nothing's worse than talking yourself out of something that you have an idea of and then being like, oh, I should have done that. Well, it would have never been a regret, or you would have never backtracked if it was actually planned. But it's not planned. Therefore, you're talking yourself out of it because you're lazy.
Yeah, and you're going to find an excuse.
You're going to find an excuse. Your body will take the path of the least resistance. Exactly. So if that means jumping in the car, sitting in traffic for 15 minutes to go sit in a hot, uncomfortable environment, being like a sauna, or go sit in an ice bath, your body's going to try to talk you out of it. But if it's planned, it's
especially if it's
for.
something new.
Yeah.
That you're like,
like a dinner with someone like you know, or like a lunch with someone you've never met before. And you're like, oh,
something that might have in the past made you uncomfortable, but why should it today or tomorrow?
Right.
Like, this is today. This isn't yesterday.
Yep.
This isn't, you know.
Book it, plan it, move forward. You guys, this has been an awesome episode. And I feel like you and I could just go on and on and on. We should
probably give the ears a break.
Oh, this conversation was great. And just shout out to our listener for sending this, because this was a great topic. And we want to communicate with directly what you guys need to hear.
Yeah.
So if you have something.
And it also helps us to consider things that we hadn't yet, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
this opened up so many conversations. Yeah.
So keep them coming. We love the ideas.
We absolutely do. And if this struck an emotional chord with you or hit you right between the eyes like a Mike Tyson punch, we invite you to, you know, share your honest feedback or share it with a friend.
Yeah.
There's someone
Tag
out
us
there
in
that
your
needs
stories,
to hear this.
post, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or send us a question. Like, we want to be here to help out. That's our goal. And
100%.
You know, Ambry and I can officially say that our goal with this podcast is to help people understand themselves and to help them win bigger in life.
Absolutely.
And if you can do that, wouldn't that be an amazing thing for you?
I think so.
Like, it'd be awesome.
Who wouldn't want that?
I want that every
You
day.
would want that.
Just listening to you talk about like how attractive it is to see someone becoming, I'm just like, okay,
yeah, maybe you should go tell your spouse how attractive it would be if they became their most excellent self.
They stop playing video games.
To some people, that's not unattractive, but
It's true. Anyways, well, you guys,
thank you for being here.
So much for listening.
All the wonderful wishes and joys and success for the upcoming new year. 2023 is going to be the best year yet for you, for your family, for your business, for your life. You deserve it. We deserve it. Let's all win together. And next time we talk, it will be 2023. So we will see you then. Until next week.